Joe as a teacher here, but he never gave me any useful advice at all. He would only say two things to me. Well, he said that thing with the 100 hours, that was good, which is really just frightening. But then he also would say, well, that's kind of neat. And then I would say, yeah. And he'd say, okay, just don't screw it up. And actually, it's very hard to strike a balance between doing another one and screwing up the thing you have. But it's something that that I think, if you pay attention while you're here, you really sort of master what that balance is. And so, Joe, thank you for that. There's like the reminder that, when it works, and just kind of, if you've got an idea, just cherish it, make sure it works. One of my things I was putting here had to do with being decisive, but everyone's been beating that to death so much that I figured it wasn't worth reiterating. But it's, being decisive, not screwing up the thing you have, and always taking a chance to do another one. Those are the three things from our three heroes. Tab, the diet cola from Coke, heavily carbonated, heavily caffeinated cola named Tab. That turned out not to be true, actually. But still, it was fun to drink while we thought it was for free. And this was actually a really, really important thing, and Jerry touched on this again as well. I lived in now demolished Sanger Hall when I was a freshman, then I lived in Calhoun as a sophomore, and I lived off campus, but I really didn't live in any of those places. Those were just where I slept and where I brushed my teeth occasionally. Where I really lived was in the studio here in the old DAA building. And I lived with a family that was, almost like having this huge extended family of brothers and sisters. And then downstairs, we were upstairs in the attic, and downstairs were the parents and aunts and uncles who sort of worried about whether we were behaving and not hurting ourselves and not drinking too much overly carbonated, caffeinated cola, caramel-colored beverages. And that taught me that design is really something, fine art is something that plausibly you could go to a studio and lock all the doors and just paint your brains out and come out with a masterpiece. Design's a social experience, though. You're doing it for other people, on behalf of other people, and you're doing it with other people. And even before, collaboration became a big watchword, the idea that people could sit side by side in the studio and really get to know each other as designers, as friends, and do it sort of became a really, really fundamental idea about how design was practiced in the years that we were here. And, I remember that when I made the move to go to New York after graduation, it wasn't intimidating at all because upon arrival, me and my then fiancée, the soon-to-be wife Dorothy, got to stay with Kitty Smith and Bill in that loft they had on West 19th Street that other people in this room have stayed at, and they were UC graduates. And then I swear to God, for the first 2 or 3 years that I lived in New York, I don't think I ever did anything social in New York City, except it was with other Cincinnati people. I mean, sometimes the other people allowed in. It wasn't exclusively other Cincinnati people, but it was always like one of your friends from your class that you see the year before, the year afterwards, and it just was a really, really amazing time. In New York in 1980, that's still French Connection, Dog Day Afternoon in New York. That's like scary New York, not Bloomberg New York, where everything's shiny and Disneyfied. This was like scary New York, and we were just fearless because we sort of had each other. It was really, really a wonderful experience to be like that. And Jerry mentioned the connections that you have between UC. I can still go into a meeting sometimes, and it'll be someone who graduated from architecture or from industrial design. And if that person was a DAAP graduate, the two of us always have this little bonding moment where you can tell that we will conspire to create a coalition that will defeat anyone bad. And I remember when I was at my first job at working for Mossimo Vignelli, and Margaret Wollenhoff was there with me, and then we had more and more Cincinnati people working with us, Doug Free, Lucy Cosentino, Mark Koch here, this mob of UC people were all there. And I remember, there was the occasional person who would wander in from Yale or Cooper Union, and they just felt like outcasts, lame-os, Where did you go to school? Yale? Oh, yeah, I heard of that. Yeah, that's where the instructors from the University of Cincinnati went, I heard. So, it was really, really, it's probably irritating, actually. honestly. It hurts to me now. But boy, it sort of was a great feeling to know that you were part of a, if not an elite, then a world within a world that you could kind of call your own and be comfortable with. And then finally, number 10 is something that I don't think I realized at the time, but I didn't learn until much later. I got married to my then girlfriend. We've been married to celebrate our 30th wedding anniversary. We have 3 kids. The 2 oldest have already been through college. The oldest one's in law school. The second one is a junior in college. The youngest one is a senior in high school, getting ready to go to college. And when I went to UC, I just kind of like, luckily I found out I wanted to study graphic design. I wanted to do it at the university. I had a guidance counselor who, without the magic of Google, figured out that there was such a program at the University of Cincinnati. So that's where I went, and I don't remember thinking about it much more than that. Now, my youngest daughter, I personally with her visited 22 different colleges. And part of it's because it's fun. I really do like visiting colleges, and I like spending time with Martha and everything. But there's a lot of pressure with kids today. They're particularly on the East Coast, and it's probably everywhere. Choosing a college is really, really important. You really have to focus on it. Make sure you visit, make sure you this, make sure you do that. And we've done that, and she's really taken careful notes and researched online and done all the work as her older brother and older sister did. Except, there's a secret that I sort of can't bring myself to tell her, because it sort of ruins the whole theory of how important picking your college is. And it's that what really makes that experience